Hey, what's up, folks? Stu Myrick, Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Um, Hope you had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend. Uh, Mine was good. It was filled with brisket. For those of you who don't know, I am a volunteer with the Boy Scouts of America and the local council here, and as part of that, I'm part of a cooking crew, and we did a big brisket cook this weekend for our summer camp. So around 1,500 pounds of brisket was smoked, cooled, trimmed, sliced, packaged, and put in our walk-in freezer there at the kitchen at our camp, ready to be served to all the scouts and adult leaders uh, that will be at camp this summer over 5 weeks, starting this coming Sunday. Um, so yeah, that was fun, and uh, Justin Simmons should be along soon. Um, if you saw our tweet at SGTW we are scheduled to talk to Mark Henry. He had a little bit of a surprise on Sunday, as in he has become the newest member of All Elite Wrestling. He is no longer with the WWE. He is going to be a coach. He's going to be in talent development. He's also going to be the analyst for their new show, AEW Rampage, which starts Friday, August 13th, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on TNT. So, so we're going to visit with him. I know he talked a lot about it this morning on Busted Open on SiriusXM, but this will be for those of you that don't have SiriusXM. And because I had a feeling I'd be able to get him on the show, I didn't want because I wanted to hear it fresh. So we'll find out how long this has been in the works. And we had the first clue, although it wasn't really a clue when watched the pay-per-view, and Jacob, his son, was in the the front row section behind the hard cam, with some of the different wrestlers that you see on Dark and Dark Elevation, like Fuego del Sol and Bear Country and those guys. So he was standing there with them. I think he caught Lance Archer during his match with Miro. So that was neat. And in fact, Jacob was in Sammy Guevara's latest vlog, which I gotta be honest, I've always enjoyed being the elite. Sometimes here lately, though, it misses the mark. And Sammy's is still Sammy's, and it's still working. So so that was fun. Um, so yeah, that was a big deal. Of course, we will recap everything that happened at Double or Nothing. Only had one title change. It was the one that we all expected. Britt Baker defeating Hikaru Shida to become the new AEW Women's World Champion. So congratulations to the good doctor. In fact, on Dynamite this Friday, they're supposed to have a Britt Baker Championship celebration. And you know there's always going to be some sort of hijinks. It would not surprise me if Thunder Rosa is there to renew that rivalry. Get her stake her claim to the AEW Women's World Title. She's already been an NWA Women's World Champion. So to add the AEW World Title to her resume, that'd be big stuff. So, we have NXT on the TV. Adam Cole just ruined the Triple Threat #1 Contenders match It was Kyle O'Reilly, Pete Dunne, and Johnny Gargano. Winner faces Karrion Kross at NXT TakeOver in Your House. But Adam Cole came out and attacked all three, attacked the ref, and just generally pissed off the management, including William Regal. So we don't know how that's going to turn out. So, other than that, let's see. As we said, got Double or Nothing. NWA has a pay-per-view this weekend. Kind of snuck up on me, but I'll give you the quick rundown of that. Unfortunately, New Japan Pro Wrestling has had to cancel another event. They're getting close to their Dominion event at Korakuen Hall. If you know New Japan, you know that's probably their SummerSlam to Wrestle Kingdom, which is their WrestleMania. We do know who will vie for the vacant IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. We also know a couple of other matches. WWE has a new Raw lead announcer, and he made his debut last night, so we'll probably mention that a little bit. Sadly, that was probably the only highlight of Raw. I actually missed most of it. I sped through it a little bit. The main event, Drew McIntyre and Kofi Kingston, was really good. But other than that, they're stuck in a time loop, I think. It's been the same show for the last 4 weeks. And I don't mean, it's like format, the wrestlers, who's battling who. It's been the exact same show. And I don't know. It just baffles me. We talked about it a week or so ago how SmackDown seems to have become the A show now. Raw was always and forever going to be the A show. They were always going to put all their bigger emphasis on Monday Night Raw. That hasn't been the case in definitely since WrestleMania, and I would say since at least October, November of last year. It's maddening. It's weird that Raw has become so just lackadaisical. Justin Simmons rocking his Dallas Mavericks. His beloved Dallas Mavericks. Are they still in the playoffs? They still are in the playoffs. All right, so there is hope.
Ain't looking good.
It ain't looking good, but hey.
They were up 2 games to none, and now it's tied 2-2.
Uh-oh. Well, that happens.
But I'm waiting for there to be some AEW TNT crossover.
Yeah.
I like the little lower third. That's a nice addition. Thank you.
We've had that.
Have we?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, we've had that.
Well, it's new to me.
Okay, it's new to you. Yeah, you had the crossover between the AEW and the Jaguars. So.
The Jaguars, yes.
We had, it could only happen in professional wrestling. Urban Meyer and former Longhorns head coach Charlie Strong helping Chris Jericho out to beat up that dastardly MJF, your buddy.
Oh, I know. It was a tough match for him.
It was. I mean, Urban handed Chris the laptop, and Chris used the laptop on him. Now I saw somebody tweet, and it makes total sense. They need to auction off both the laptop and both footballs. And give it to find a charity in Jacksonville. They would get a pretty penny.
I hate to say it because it's just all like, man, it's pro wrestling, so it is one of those things that's super random that it would work. Because it's kind of like, for me, it's kind of like own a piece of the table that Mick Foley went through. Yeah. With that match with Edge, or something like that. And it's like, that is such you can't put that on a plaque and hang it on your wall. Right. I don't know what you do with a piece of table. The footballs make sense. The broken laptop, I know somebody still wants it, but I'm just like, where am I going to
Well-
place this, and how do I explain it to the people that come and visit my kingdom?
Well, and I mean, never mind just Jaguars fans that are also AEW fans. We have seen the collectors. The show on A&E with WWE. We know there are collectors out there that will pay for stuff like that.
I know. That's why I'm just all like,
I wouldn't
Pro
mind having
wrestling?
one of the footballs.
oh, like I said, I mean, the football,
Especially because it involves, the Texas Longhorns.
yeah, I'm not hating on your idea. I'm saying football, understandable. It, like, you can display that. Broken
Yeah.
laptop, it's just all like pet rock, same deal.
Yeah, I mean, you have to find a unique way to display it. So, I get
and
that.
like, does it come in with a plaque? Is it going to be like in one of those jersey montage things that they make? When you buy a retired player's jersey, and then it's like a picture of them,
I can
and
see,
then has
but,
like an
I
authenticity.
can see like a glass case, maybe a picture of Urban signing it or something. I don't know, but anyway, so
So he's basically trying to pick up any possible fringe sports fan in general that happens to be an AEW fan and see if they can turn him into Jaguar fans. I'm not hating on it. I think it's quite smart.
sure,
'Cause it expands your
I
brand.
guess. I mean, I think it was just a matter of, hey, it's corporate synergy, the same company, so why not?
Well, yeah, but I mean, it expands the Jaguar brand because
Oh, of
maybe
course it
maybe some of
does.
those people are not NFL fans,
You
but
know,
they might become Jaguar fans just because they like AEW.
At least before they moved to London. So
Yeah, before they move to London. I agree with you. I think that's going to happen sooner than later.
I think it will, because they're the ones that always seem to have games in London.
Well, they made that deal where they want to play the one in London
Yeah.
as much as possible.
So
But they also
um,
own the stadium.
they do, and they have Fulham FC in. Is that in the Premier League or is that Champions League?
I think they got relegated
Okay.
to be the championship now.
Okay.
But they were in the Prem this year.
Yeah. So, hey, by the way, give credit to me for knowing. I think they might be in the Champions League. So, hey, just the fact that I'm learning a little soccer here.
Yes, you understand
I'm
promotion
getting
and
there.
relegation.
I'm getting there.
Little by little.
So Austin FC got the draw this weekend against Seattle.
Yeah, that was
That
a
was-
showing for them.
That was a shocker.
Yeah.
I heard Mike Craven from the Austin American Statesman saying that, if that was the result, they Austin FC should count it as a win because they're worn down, long road trip, all that good stuff. So,
Yeah.
at least they'll be back in state coming up soon, right? They're taking on, is it FC Dallas?
No.
Or
I think
Houston.
I think they have to go to Kansas City.
Oh, they go to
And
KC.
then they have the home opener.
Right. So KC, and then they're back here in Austin for the big opener. So let's see, 7:43. All right, so we will call Mark and get him on. There we go. And yeah, this should be fun. There's L.A. Knight out there with Ted DiBiase, the Hall of Famer,
Oh, yeah.
$1 million man,
From what we saw last week, though.
dastardly Rat Pack leader.
It's
I
kind of
still
funny.
I still won't let it go. No, I'm glad to see him out there. I'm glad to see L.A. Knight getting some TV time. I still think he is one of the best talkers in the business right now. He's just so good. So good. All right, let's see if we can get Mr. Henry.
Has been forwarded.
Okay. Not yet. Give him a couple more minutes. I did say 7:45. All right, so give him a moment. It's probably been a busy day for him.
Oh, I'm sure.
Of course, he probably talked a lot about this on Busted Open, as mentioned. He talked on Busted Open about it. So, but for those that don't have SiriusXM, hey, they can listen to us on the horn. So
I usually just catch it in clips on like YouTube.
yeah, YouTube or Twitter or something like that. So
If you don't have SiriusXM.
right, I do, but I'm usually busy doing stuff and don't think to turn on my SiriusXM in the mornings. So
Oh, I'm just not up.
oh, I'm up because it's 8 to 11 Central. So I'm working. Excuse me. But yeah. There's an NWA pay-per-view this weekend.
Yes.
That snuck up on me. But hey,
People have been saying that the booking is not as strong as it had been previously, or they're not as interested in the storylines right now. But I know the main event for the NWA World Heavyweight Championship would be Atlas, Trevor Murdoch, and
yes.
I understand.
Update: we will have Mark on at 8 p.m. Central. So in about 15 minutes.
And a great veteran hand. It's just that.
Yeah.
It's just.
And is it time to take the belt off of Nick? Because he has had it now.
No, there's no viable person in the NWA that I feel that can fulfill that role right now. And it wouldn't be like...
Not even for just a little bit, just to have a change?
No, the supporting cast isn't there right now. Maybe the Pope. But he's not in that position.
So definitely not Trevor Murdoch.
I don't think Trevor Murdoch... No offense. I mean, it's just... I don't think he's... This whole feud hasn't even been exciting. And it's just maybe because I was hoping that they were going to push somebody that's a little bit younger.
Yeah.
But, I know that they're dealing with, still the fallout of the death of Josephus and then having people leave and then having other wrestlers displeased, wanting to leave, and then...
Yeah. They have definitely
and
gone
then
through
the pandemic. And
yeah. They did make an announcement, and we'll talk about it here in a little while, but they're going to sell limited tickets for the to be at the pay-per-view and the TV tapings or Fight TV tapings. They're in Atlanta. So, but yeah, they've gone through a pretty good roster change.
Yeah,
you wonder, and so it's kind of one of those things you wonder. Well, and it's kind of funny because it's a little bit like NXT right now. Because right now you don't really see a viable person to take the title off of Karrion Kross. And I know he just got it, and it's going to take a while. But right now, if you look at the current roster, you could find a way to do it. You book it right, but I don't see that person. I guess I don't know if you put it on Kyle O'Reilly.
There you go.
Kyle was a Ring of Honor World Champion. Hell, he won it off of Adam Cole.
I was going to say any of the Undisputed or ex-Undisputed era, any of those guys would be worthy of having the World Championship in NXT.
Yeah.
So, they're just not maybe as hot as a candidate, but I feel that they are more viable than maybe some of the options that NWA has been offering.
Right.
Because besides Trevor Murdoch, who happens to be in the feud, who else is on the roster that should be in that position? I hate to say it, it's a little tough to say right now.
It is. You're not going to put it back on Johnny Gargano again. I don't think you're going to put it back on Ciampa.
No, I think those guys are just there to be like the upper mid card and always be able to put on a good solid match now. But this point.
They don't want to go to Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, and if that's it. That's all they're really going to do.
Which it seems to be the prevailing thinking.
I guess you could always have
a good chunk of the roster.
I guess you could always have Keith Lee come back and win it. I guess that's the other thing that NXT has the advantage over any other promotion.
But we don't know what's going on with Keith Lee. That's the thing.
They can always have somebody come from a main roster and come back and win.
Yeah.
Like Finn Balor did.
Like Finn Balor. And a lot of people thought, who was it? Well, a lot of people think Keith may be that way, although that seems a little. I don't know. That seems really soon because he hasn't been on Raw very long, and now he's been gone since before Royal Rumble. We haven't seen him. We haven't seen him in the ring. We haven't seen him anywhere. So,
True.
I mean, he was slated to win the U.S. title.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I could see somebody decide to go from Raw or SmackDown to NXT. Maybe that's what you do. Although I don't know. Finn seemed like the one unique person where it was okay. If you do it a second time, you're gonna start. I think you're gonna. It's not necessarily the law of diminishing returns, but it's kind of one of those things of you're showing you don't have faith in your. It's kind of the same thing as what I argue with Brock Lesnar. You don't have anybody on Raw and SmackDown that you feel worthy, so you back up the Brinks truck to Brock's cabin and get him to show up.
It's all good. I'm okay with Brock.
But
you know this already.
I'm okay with Brock, but it's just it's almost an indictment on the rest of the roster.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And you can't have Brock come back all the time and have a championship and just because I will get bored. I will get bored. I mean, I'm bored with it as it is, but that would probably force me to just say, I'll just catch ups and downs or highlights. I'm not going to watch the show because you know what's going to happen. Why am I going to invest in anybody if Brock's there? Because Brock's going to squash him in 30 seconds. He's going to pull a Kofi.
Yes.
So,
and that is why I watch, is to see
so
Brock.
you just want to see nothing but Brock squashing.
It worked when Goldberg got hot, so I'm okay with him coming back and doing what Brock does. We're only going to get maybe 3 more years of this, possibly, because at that point he'll age out.
I'm still of the opinion we're not seeing Brock.
Oh no, I think we're definitely seeing Brock.
I don't.
We might see Brock versus Cena.
Man, that's and again, like I said, I mean, sure, okay.
I mean, you can't
and
hate on that.
It'll sell the tickets. He'll put butts in seats. I get that.
It'll be good. 2 Hosses.
Well,
the face of the WWE for a whole generation going against the Beast.
It'll be good for a WWE main event.
It's good. It's good for any promotion. I think anybody that is running a promotion would want that as their main event.
No, what I'm saying is it's not
regardless of affiliation.
We're not going to see Brock and Cena do what we saw with Miro and Lance Archer, for instance. We're not going to see them just tear into each other. Because WWE doesn't do that. They don't go that extreme.
But that's okay.
What I'm saying is, though, like I said, it's just that if that's what you have to lean on is to bring back part-timers again, I think you're gonna lose some more of your audience. I think so. Maybe if it's a one-off, okay, fine. I think it'll be fine. But if you put the title on one of them, then it's kind of like, all right, okay, so we know how this goes.
If Cena wins the title,
we'll check out. We'll tune back in after WrestleMania when whoever Vince wants beats Brock, because that's the way this song goes. Brock gets title. Brock squashes a bunch of people. Someone comes up, wins the Rumble, faces Brock at Mania, beats Brock at Mania. We've seen this happen, 4 times?
But this would be the first time with a crowd post-pandemic. And it might not be the same
Okay,
person.
hold it. Stop. We haven't seen Brock Lesnar in the pandemic. Outside of that, outside of WrestleMania 30, was it 6?
Okay, so we saw him.
But it's happened before crowds before.
Yes, but I'm saying.
So you're saying because we've been through a pandemic, it would change everybody's vision of it?
Yes.
Okay, that's you couldn't be more wrong.
I don't think
It's the same thing. It's the same deal. It's like seeing them running Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander 4 weeks in a row on Raw.
we haven't seen it in like 2 years. So
So?
okay. It's okay to bring it back.
But again, we know how it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
There's no reason to tune in. There's no intrigue. There's nothing to. I mean, if you want to see Brock just beat up people, fine. Why put the world title on him?
Because it makes sense to have the star attraction holding the belt.
But again, it has no intrigue to it.
For you.
Again, I'm saying I think it's lazy, quite frankly.
We've
We've seen this song before.
They're just using what they have available. I mean, if Brock is the
You
big
are tried
one.
so hard to defend it. It is sad. It is sad and funny at the same time. I get you're a big fan of it. I get you have no. Oh, here we go. Well, hello there, big AEW star.
Oh, what's going on, man?
How you doing?
You know I'm gonna be a star wherever I go.
You're always a star. You're a star. You're a star for us. I mean, we and we're so glad you gave us some time. So I appreciate it. So I'm gonna do a quick intro. We'll play our intro, and then we'll bring you right on. Okay?
All right.
All right. All right. So here we go.
This is Scorpio Sky, and you are listening to the best sports guys talking wrestling.
When they're not covering the sports world, they're talking about the world of professional wrestling.
It's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Now, with Justin Simmons, here's Stu Myrick.
It is Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick, Justin the Smash Simmons. What's up, man?
I just saw you a couple of days ago.
I know. We were together on Sunday to watch AEW Double or Nothing. I will say probably one of their best pay-per-views so far. Had some surprises.
Lots of surprises, actually.
Including Tony Schiavone bringing up the new show, AEW Rampage, which will debut Friday, August 13th, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central on TNT. And he had a special announcement. A special surprise regarding AEW Rampage.
But you may not know that we have a very special analyst that we have signed for this event, for this show. He's also going to be one of the coaches here in AEW. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Here is our newest analyst on TNT and on Rampage, the world's strongest man, Mark Henry.
He is a Hall of Famer. And what a gift he will be to AEW.
And we are so lucky that very Hall of Famer and gift to AEW joins us now on the Vaqueros Cafe and Cantina Hotline. He is a WWE Hall of Famer. He is the co-host of SiriusXM's Busted Open every day. Does it all for the Busted Open Nation. And a frequent Horn contributor. We're going to give him a show. Mark Henry, we need to have you and me doing, like, I don't know, Longhorn football breakdown or something.
Man, listen, I don't think there's any luck involved in our relationship on the air and off the air. This is you're a friend of mine. You know, I've trusted you over the years, not only to give me the best information about what was going on in the world of football, but also pro wrestling. And I love people that are
Mark, you there?
I'm sorry, I can't help but laugh.
Yeah,
I'm
that great
sorry,
intro.
man. It was going so well.
Mark, you still there?
It was going so well.
Okay, hold on. We got to pause the recording.
We're live, pal.
We're live, pal.
Yeah, that's what happens though. It's live.
Let's try it. Let's see.
Oh man, that was really good. He was being really nice too.
I know he was.
He was saying such good things about you. Maybe he was going through a tunnel.
That may have been me, Stu. I'm driving.
That's okay. That's okay. I was like, you were just like giving me such a wonderful compliment. I was like, midway, it's all of a sudden it dropped. It's like, damn, it sounded so good. So, oh man. But it was great to see you come out on the stage there in Jacksonville at Daly's Place. So let's start from the beginning. When did this process start? Who contacted who? How did we end up with Mark Henry as the expert analyst for AEW Rampage?
Man, I've been friends with Tony since they got into wrestling. When he was with the Jaguars, there was always, talk of him starting wrestling, and out of respect for the company that I work for, we just never talked wrestling. I mean, like never. And then once I was started with Busted Open, and we decided to go to the first Double or Nothing in Vegas, I was on the media row doing interviewing all of the wrestlers. So me coming in, that's when I had to ask Tony wrestling questions for the first time in our existence, and I asked the questions. All of that was really cool. We sat and talked and got to know each other, but I was still working with WWE and I was still working with SiriusXM, so there was no talk or even remotely. It wasn't even an idea. But about 6 months ago, I spoke with the office at WWE and explained, listen, man, I've been a Swiss Army knife myself over the last, maybe 8 to 12 years, that I wanted to be an employee and I wanted to be to work in office and be an executive. And Vince told me to write it up, tell me what you feel like your strengths are, write up some programming that you think would work for WWE. And I did all of that, but the WWE was going through, over the last 3 months, this cleansing phase where they was just like getting rid of dead weight, and they were also trying to recreate what they thought they should be doing in the direction that they should be going in. So, I mean, just recently, 35 people met the axe. So, in my mind, I was like, well, I don't want to be one of those people, even though I'm on a Legends deal. I want to do more. I want to be an employee. And when that was rejected then, I had to pivot and say, well, if I'm going to do it, this is the time to do it. And that's when I gave Tony a call when I was told no, because I have to work. I got 2 mouths to feed, one of which
yes, I do.
Over there at Lake Travis, and when I say a mouth to feed, that dude right there is about $100 a day job.
Not gonna lie, he did kind of give away the fact that you were possibly going to be there because we were able to spot him in the crowd. But that's because obviously he's just a big kid.
You didn't know nothing. You didn't know.
Well, and I will say,
don't give me that horse wash.
Well, okay. First, I did point him out.
You know everything.
He was sounding. He was
sitting
because he was standing there next to Fuego del Sol and some of the others, and I saw that giant behemoth that is a future defensive lineman for the Lake Travis Cavaliers, and I knew who it was. But I figured, okay, he was there because you're there with Busted Open. I didn't think it was. You were joining AEW. It was just you were just there with Dave and the rest of the Busted Open crew. So it was really cool. So let me ask you this: when this became official, what was the reaction from WWE? Because I think you just heard in the clip from the audio from AEW. Obviously, the crowd was really shocked and surprised, and I think part of that was because they figured you were probably going to be with WWE for a very long time. So having you go to AEW was a
I
surprise.
have been with the WWE for a very long time, 25 years.
Oh yes, I know. I was there when you walked out the very first time in San Antonio. So I understand.
So
but
you know it, and there was multiple reactions. The reaction went to Vince when I told him, and him saying, "Man, I hate to lose you. I really don't want to lose you, but I know you're gonna be great over there." He's like, "You've done so much." He said, "I don't ever want to feel like I'm holding you back." And I said, "Well, I would like to have done it there, but I've already made up my mind to leave now." And he was like, "Brother, go for it, man. You can do it." He was proud of me for making the move and having the balls to say, "You know what? I'm going to bet on myself," because I've never had a safety net in my life. Every step that I've ever taken has been on a high wire. It was either fly or fail, and I've had a lot of success. I've flown many times, and now I'm going to be flying for AEW.
Yeah, you definitely are going to be. So, they sent out the press release today, talking about how you're going to be the expert analyst on AEW Rampage, which is coming up Friday, August 13th on TNT.
Which is one of my jobs.
Yeah, right. That's one of your jobs. You're also going to be talent development. You're going to be a scout, scouting talent. Now, I know you do that right now for SW Fury. Are you going to continue your role with SW Fury, or is this you're going to go all in with, forgive the pun, with AEW?
I'm done with SWE.
Okay.
And some of it is misfortune for them because they got Lacey Von Erich down there, and I think she's a wreck and a cancer to their company. But that's me giving my opinion. It's no fact behind it that everybody else hates her or dislikes her or thinks that she's a detriment. But anytime I see something that's possibly dangerous in wrestling, and I'm not meaning with the talent, I'm meaning with the crowd, with the business of professional wrestling. If somebody tries to put a black eye on the business of pro wrestling, they're going to have a problem with me. I speak my mind. I always have and always will.
That's for damn sure. You sure do. So you're going to be, as I said, the talent scout for AEW. Is this going to involve, because I know AEW brings in a lot of independent talent for Dark and Dark Elevation, but is this also going to involve you going out to independent shows, show up at GCW or AAW in Chicago, or even come down here, to if Inspire gets back going, you come to Inspire, for instance?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. That's one of the tales of the tape. I told you I'm playing the Swiss Army knife role, and that is one of the things I'm going to be doing. I'm a sounding board for creative, and sitting in talking to Tony and figuring out what's going to work and what won't work, and what's worth a try. And so it's a lot that's going on. Community involvement is something that is foreign to them. They're pretty much a new company finding their way. They have found a way to get the young people. Now I'm going to help them find a way to get the old people too.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. We're talking with Hall of Famer Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, here on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. Let me ask you this, because we have seen, over the last several months, whether it's with you, Paul White, Christian Cage, and it seems like the veteran, the wisdom that WWE has now found its way to All Elite Wrestling, has found its way to Tony Khan to use. Is that Is that it's just a matter of, timing, or is there something else there?
No, that's timing. That's just the way that it worked out. Guys are at the end of their contracts. Uh, there's some guys that want to still wrestle, like Paul White, formerly the Big Show with WWE.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to still work, and he didn't want to be retired. He didn't want a Legends deal. Like he said, listen, I still can go. I still can do this. And if the WWE was not going to use him like that, then he had to go somewhere else. That's just the way it is.
Makes sense. So Paul White wants to get back in the ring. I know it has been said that you feel like you've got at least one more match left. You want to do a retirement match. Could we see that match in AEW, whether it's on Dynamite, Rampage, somewhere under the All Elite Wrestling banner?
Well, definitely. If I'm going to do a match, I'm going to do a match with AEW. I mean, whether it's the first one, the second one, or however many I feel like I got left in me, definitely I'm going to be there.
Man, I would love to see it because I could just already imagine some of the dream matches against some of that younger talent that you would be going against. It would be so awesome, Stu, wouldn't it?
And on top of that, just like what they did with Cody and Dustin, I'm thinking, hey, we need to see one more round of Paul White and Mark Henry.
Oh, yeah, that'd be sweet.
I don't know. Excuse me. I don't know. But whatever the future holds, believe you me, I'm going to be ready for it.
I know you are.
Taking on here with All Elite, but which one really gets you excited about this new journey?
You know what? I think the number one thing that I'm excited about is creating the future. The thing that I've been the best at over the last 15 years is scouting. You look at baseball, you look at football. Scouts are able to see somebody and go, oh my God, that guy's got everything except the one thing that he really needs. And I'm not telling nobody, let's sign him. And I'll fix it, and they'll be the best player in the league, or they'll definitely be a Pro Bowler. And that's kind of been my gift. And that gift goes all the way back to Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan was the first one I saw in the Indies. And I said, hey, this guy, you need to get him. He's incredible. And I had to lie. And so I told him he was like 6 feet, 200 pounds.
Oh, wow. Man, but you must have really liked him when you saw him to do that.
Oh, I hung my whole career on a lie.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never done that, and I have not done it since because I was told, hey, man, just be honest. But I didn't get any problem with it because he turned out to be one of the best wrestlers that we have in the world today.
Absolutely. Let me ask you this. You see the talent that is in AEW now. And we know the names that always get bantied, whether it's Jungle Boy or Sammy Guevara or those guys. But who do you see?
And you're not going to mention MJF?
Well, MJF and I have this rivalry because he kept ripping off my headsets when he was in Inspire. So I try not to say his name. I have show
All right,
shock.
don't mention him. My bad.
Actually, truth be told, MJF one of the best out there. But what I want to know is who's one of those names that we'll see on Elevation or Dark that you can see the seeds planted, and with the right cultivation, the right motivation and development, you could see them being in that upper tier there in AEW.
I guess first I would have to say Will Hobbs.
Yeah.
I think that Will Hobbs has a future. The guy is hyper talented. He just haven't found his way yet. I think that Serena Deeb she should have been on the show. She should have been out show. That the pre-show was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when I tell you that she was beyond amazing, I just see more for her. And um, golly, man, I don't know any other way that um, she's one of my favorites, man.
Yeah. Oh,
And
I couldn't agree more.
she's one of those that she works like Daniel Bryan.
Yeah, absolutely. You're
But
absolutely right.
like her gear change, her shifting from one thing to another is super impressive, and it's just got to find a way to make her more valuable. Um, golly, that's she just. I'm sitting here now, and I'm thinking of the whole match through. There
Mhm.
was not one weak point in that whole match that she had with Rio.
You're right.
So she those and Rio I think is a great talent too that needs to be worked in. The women's division needs a little bit of work, and they have all the tools. It's just like playing chess. How do you get to put somebody in check? And that's what needs more work.
Man, the more you talk about this, it's just like, no doubt the signing is just going to work because I just love how you're just going through all the intricacies of what could be possible. And you talking about this gets me excited for the future. So I can only imagine once you get to be let loose on AEW to show what we're hearing here and you get to share that with everybody else that's going to be watching, man, they're going to fall in love with it too.
Yeah, I mean, I see a lot for Sean Spears. Um, Sean Spears is one that I've always liked. I
Hmm.
always thought that he was one of the best talents that they had, and I just felt like he was misused, and or he was underused is probably more appropriate. The stuff that they did with him worked. It's just that it was out of his skill set, and now uh, recognizing that, man, I'm going through everybody over there with a fine tooth comb to find out like what's strengths and what's weaknesses, and let's accentuate the strengths and get rid of the weaknesses. That's what a scout does. That's what somebody that evaluates talent at a high level does. And man, if I sat here and started telling you all the people that I had influence on, we would be here for a while.
I can only imagine. The one thing that I love is, you know, you are you're going to be a coach. You're going to be talent development, and the people they have already in that area, whether it's with Dustin and Jerry Lynn and Christian Cage and Paul White and a lot of those guys. You talk about
Anthony Agogo.
yes, oh yeah. You talk about the wealth of wisdom that you guys have to where those young talents can go up. Chris Jericho, he talked about how people would line up to get his feedback. You look at that lineup of you guys that you guys have forgotten more about wrestling than most people know. And it's just I can only imagine how rich is going to be for these young up and coming talents to be able to take advantage of that expertise that you're going to provide as well as the rest of them.
Another one that's real high at the top of my list is Lucha Soros,
Yeah.
and I see big things for him. Uh, the playbook has to change. He's been a zone read player in an all run offense. Like now we're going to change the playbook, and he's going to be a force. And those are the things that it takes the experienced eye to see. And you can't just always get by on talent. There's a bunch of people there that's getting by on talent. They just don't have the right plays being called
Right.
because they're allowed the freedom to do a lot of things on their own. Like as long as you don't go over time, as long as you don't hurt somebody, good luck to you. Go for it, do it. But now it's going to be sculpted, and we're going to knock the rust off of stuff, and we're going to polish it up real nice. And people are going to go out there, and people are going to be like, "Who in the hell is this?" And it's going to be the same person that you saw all along.
Yeah, I can see that about Lucha Soros. I've seen him his whole time in AEW, watched him on the Independents, and yeah, he's one of those guys. It always seems like there's just, if he gets this one thing, whatever that thing is, that's gonna just skyrocket him. So, let me ask you this: I know you're excited for AEW going back on the road, and and just as luck would have it, the first date outside of Florida, right here in our backyard at the HB Center at Cedar Park. How excited are you to now you're going to be a part of AEW Dynamite and everything coming to Cedar Park, being up there and being around the great wrestling fans in Austin and Central Texas?
And I'm going to call on you guys.
Oh, yes.
There's going to be a lot of media. I want to do some community outreach. I'm told you, educational programming. We want to get kids and youth groups to come out. We're going to allot a certain amount of tickets for those young people to come here, and people that have physical ailments and handicaps. We're going to do a lot of that stuff that they haven't been able to do because they haven't had anybody that understood how that worked. So now they do, and we're going to get it done.
And I will bend over back. I'm with NFL alumni. That's
bend over backwards and have to go to the hospital.
Okay, figuratively, yeah. I don't bend much either way. But I'm with NFL alumni. That's what we do. We work with children's charities. We work with those groups, and so I bet you we can find a way to get some connections and work on those. Maybe even pull in some of our former NFL legends like a Raul Legre or one of those guys to help us, kind of get that going. So I think we might be able to work something out. I have a good feeling about it.
I can't wait to talk to you about it. It's right now we got a little time.
Yeah, we do.
So let's talk again next week and try to get some stuff put on the board.
Absolutely. By the way, do you play golf?
I used to play, but I hurt my back like 8 years ago, and golf was like one of the first things I stopped doing.
Well, I just thought about it because we had our NFL alumni golf tournament recently, and I was going, I need to get Mark out here. I know I've seen him with clubs, so I want to. I just want to see.
I'm gonna tell you, Stu. Like 3 years ago at WrestleMania, I won the long drive.
That's right. I remember that.
I hit 286, and I can knock him out there. And the next day I could barely walk.
Oh man,
so bad.
Well, I just want to see a foursome with you and Ed Too Tall Jones. That will make my day to see you two knocking the ball around on golf course here in the Austin area. All right. Well, we'll have one next year. So I'm gonna keep you in mind when we start getting ready. I think we might have you as one of the captains at least. So we'll see if we can work that out.
I'll drive the cart.
You'll drive the cart. That's right. You'll drive the cart. I got you. Mark Henry, the world's strongest man. You hear him on every horn show we got, even Bucky and Aaron, who get lost sometimes. Mark, always a pleasure to talk to you. Congratulations on the new gig. I'm excited for you. I know how much you're looking forward to this. Can't wait to see you helping to shape those young talents there in All Elite Wrestling.
Man, I'm really, really blessed to be in this spot and have the faith of Tony Khan to help mold the people in his company and help push them for the future. So without Tony, bringing me in, we wouldn't have this. I wouldn't have this opportunity. So shout out to Tony too.
Absolutely. Tony Khan, one of our favorites. Thanks, Mark.
All right, man. Y'all be good.
Be good. All right, man. That was great. It will it'll go on first segment 8:00 tomorrow, since we don't have baseball. So I think we're on at 8. So thanks, man. I appreciate it. And yeah, reach out to me next week or so, and let's start thinking about it. I know a couple of the contacts with some of the charities that we work with, like the Center for Child Protection and the Marbridge Foundation especially. That's one that could be a fun one.
Yeah, I'm going to have all the news channels out there. It'll be a time that a lot of people are going to get a look-see.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, man, I'll let you go. Be safe. Be well. We'll talk soon.
All right, man. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You can hear it. Hear the joy in Mark's voice.
Oh, hell yeah.
He is so excited.
I mean, I'm already excited to see the Mark Henry touch on All Elite Wrestling. And as he was explaining this, it kind of reminds me, and I know don't tune away, it kind of reminds me of Major League Soccer. You know, it's been around for 25 years now, but it goes in levels. You know, the first level was just to survive, second level was to start to improve the play and start building, you know, soccer-specific stadiums, and third was to grow. And right now, it seems after the first couple of years, AEW is ready to take that second step where it's like, okay, they survived the couple of years, survived a pandemic, are establishing themselves, and now they're ready to take it up another level. And a big key to that is going to be Mark's performance behind the scenes.
I couldn't agree more. We're going to take a quick time out. We come back. We are going to recap Double or Nothing. Got a title change. The Inner Circle stays. We're going to talk about it next on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Yeah, I'm happy for Mark. I really am. I know how much he loves to do that, and the fact that he's now going to get to do it for AEW, and you know, knowing what I know of Tony, how much he trusts those guys, you know, like Dustin, like Jerry Lynn, like Dean Malenko. I mean, man, to add that to the expertise that they already have, man, I can't wait. I really can't.
Easily.
It's going to be so much fun to watch them.
And I have to say, obviously, it sounds like it's SWE Fury's big loss, you know?
Yeah, it is.
Because it seems like he was doing a lot behind the scenes for them.
He was.
In a similar capacity, but now it's like, hey, you got the call-up. Now you're getting to do this at the national level.
Absolutely.
And obviously, he has a desire to go out and find talent, and he has an eye for it. So I'm excited to see what he does.
Yeah.
So what do you think about these guys on TV right now?
MSK defending the NXT Tag Team titles against Legado del Fantasma.
That banner was pretty cool.
I'm always.
I think they took our gimmick though.
I'll let them have. I'll let them borrow it. You know, because I still owe them some Whataburger spicy ketchup. But yeah, you know, we love, and I forget which one's which. But I'm gonna call them Desmond Xavier and Zachary Wentz.
That's the only way I can remember them. Honestly, I can't. Yeah. I don't remember their NXT days.
Think of all those post Wrestle Circus shows, the Facebook lives we would do, and Dez would come over and just joke around with us. The after Mania that we did in Orlando, 3 a.m. and he and I are just we have the looks of just crazed from lack of sleep and everything.
I still can't believe you went through that.
It was a blast.
Because that's crazy. Because I was like, okay, so WrestleMania is like 7 hours, and now we're also going to have wrestling after that, like to the wee hours of the morning.
And it's crazy that I do it all over again. That was a blast. Oh man, it was so much fun.
Well, we're getting closer to that though, to that possibility of happening.
We are. All right, let's do segment 2. We got to mute because I'm gonna play a intro so we can't hear, so you can't hear that. So don't want to get in trouble with YouTube or Twitch. So here we go. Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick, Justin the Smash Simmons. And I use the updated. So Cody's theme, Mikey Ruckus, who is an absolute genius, added in a little symphonic flair to.
I can hear it.
I mean, and I heard the whole thing, and it sounds fantastic. And by the way, he sent out a tweet. He's looking for people who play symphonic instruments.
Nice.
And he wants to do do the AEW themes with a symphony.
Wow.
I think that would be. I can only imagine, because one of my favorite CDs was S&M from Metallica.
Yeah.
When they joined up with the San Francisco Symphony. One of my all-time favorites when they do Enter the Sandman. So I can only imagine hearing some of those with some, strings and some brass and such. Man,
I have to
so
tell
good.
my cousin. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He was professional in the symphony downtown.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Nice. Double or Nothing this past Sunday. We do have one title change. New Women's World Champion Britt Baker, DMD, beats Hikaru Shida.
Expected.
It was a hell of a match, though.
Oh, hell yeah. But totally
It was expected, but I tell you what, there were times I'm thinking, okay, maybe they are going to let Shida keep it. And that's one of the things I loved about, they didn't make it completely obvious. So, but those two girls, oh, man, they threw everything at each other. I think if there was a kitchen sink, they would have thrown that too.
Well, I mean,
hard hitting.
They definitely needed to make this change, though, because Baker was one of the hottest female wrestlers that they had on their roster going. So it is nice to see that they're going to give her the ball, let her run with it, and see what she can do at the top.
She's going to have a championship celebration this Friday on TNT. And we know how those go. I would put my paycheck on it that Thunder Rosa might have something to do with this. Might have a little appearance.
Well,
so
we will find out depending on how she does at her pay-per-view, because that's the stipulation, isn't it?
No, they've already had that match.
Did they already have that match?
Yes, they already had that match. So she can still wrestle for AEW. So, we also had Anthony Ogogo. I've been saying for the last couple weeks, he has the look, the punch is dangerous, but I want to see him wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to be just the punch, because then it's like, okay, why are we putting a boxer in a wrestling ring? But he did show some moves. That frog splash he did was really good.
I mean, he's an Olympic caliber athlete.
He is.
So, one of the best in the world at what he was doing previously, at least at the amateur level, and obviously he has all the athletic ability. So now it's just about, like what Mark was saying earlier, about molding these type of talents that have all the tools. They just need to have the strongest ones exposed.
Absolutely. So Cody won the match, but Anthony Ogogo definitely showed he definitely has the skills. This weekend was a weekend for the old guys. You had Helio Castroneves at 46, winning his 4th Indianapolis 500. Only 3 other men ever to win 4 indies.
Oh, okay. Did
and
not know that.
Sting, at 62 years old, he still got it.
What's holding you back?
Ability.
You're like, I'm not 6'4" still.
Yeah.
Where he's a monster compared to some of those
Sting
guys.
and Darby Allin. I mean, with Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky, and I know Sky, that was huge for him.
Oh, hell yeah.
He got to wrestle, one of his childhood idols, and they had great chemistry in there. I was so happy. I was happy for Sky. I was happy for Sting. It was so much fun.
I don't think you could have ever been a professional wrestler in this. Not like you. I mean, I don't think there can be a professional wrestler in the business that could have never once not have had Sting as an idol at one point in time, or find them as one of their legends in the business. So yeah, I imagine that anybody that gets a chance to work with Sting, especially here, knowing that we're only probably going to have a handful more matches of him,
that's true.
It is such an amazing honor, and I'm extremely excited for those guys. But it was a really good showing by Sting too, and there were a couple of times where I'm like,
oh, me too.
But I'm glad to see that he made
the back
it through.
body drop on the ramp. I was like,
yeah.
oh, please let him get up.
But even when
And then he pops up. He did the whole Stinger pop up and glared. I mean, that did my heart so much good.
But,
I
you know,
loved it.
even when he missed the Stinger splash, though, it was just like,
Oh, yeah.
man. And you saw the neck whip
Oh, yeah.
back, and you're like, oh, are you okay? Please be okay.
Please be okay. So
But good to see that he had that great showing. You know, everybody
yeah.
did their thing. So
yeah,
what a
they
match.
were great. Kenny Omega escapes with the world title, you know, with assistance from the Good Brothers, and I hope Orange Cassidy gets another shot sometime. He has really turned it on in recent weeks. He's shown that he is not just a comedy act. He can wrestle and wrestle really well.
Oh, yeah, he can go.
And he can. I think he's got another world title shot in him. And then the Stadium Stampede. We were talking about it on Sunday. I won't say it's like it was better or worse than the first one. It was different.
Oh, yeah.
And there was different motivation too. So in that respect, I was a fan of it. There was some fun. MJF Chris Jericho battling into what was labeled as the safety's office, and there is Jacksonville Jaguars head coach Urban Meyer and linebackers coach and former Longhorn head coach Charlie Strong. Charlie Strong's tossing footballs to Chris Jericho, and Jericho's spiking them on MJF's head, and Urban gives him the laptop to whack MJF. I mean,
like,
just so
Charlie
fun.
was firing them in there. He wasn't like
Yeah.
just soft tossing it
Yes.
to Jericho. And Jericho,
Charlie's a defensive guy too.
I know, but Jericho has that dislocated elbow, so he's like essentially catching it one-handed. And I
Yes.
was like, wow, good dexterity from Jericho for not dropping any of those passes on live television.
And it was just a fun match.
But
Sammy Guevara, that was the night he became a bona fide main event star.
oh, easily. I mean, obviously MJF, Guevara was going to be one of those guys that they were going to build around for the
Yeah.
future because they
And-
were those first signings.
And I couldn't have been happier for Sammy. That was so good on Sammy. Yes, the Inner Circle wins. Yes, we get to sing along. The Cedar Park Children's Choir will get to sing along to Judas, and I'll be singing along with it.
I'm like, is there a Cedar Parks Children's Choir?
I don't know. Well,
I'm
there
not trying to
will
put
be.
you on the
It'll be-
spot. I was
it'll
just
be
curious. I was like,
Now,
really? Is
it'll
there
be just
one?
like the Jacksonville Children's Choir.
Oh, okay.
But hey,
Gotcha.
you know,
Got you what you were saying.
all in all, I would dare say this was one of their best pay-per-views in their short history. And, wow, it was just so much fun to watch. A couple matches felt a little long, but it's hard to, because they were still action-packed. So, all in all, fantastic job. They did announce their next two pay-per-views, AEW All Out, September 4th, and they will be back in Chi-Town, back in Chicago, where it all started. And then Full Gear, November 6th in St. Louis. So that's your next two AEW pay-per-views. We did mention AEW Dynamite Friday night again this week because of the NBA playoffs. Right now on the card, we mentioned Britt Baker Championship Celebration. Dustin Rhodes, our honorary co-host and AEW correspondent, he's taking on Nick Camarado from the Factory in a bull rope match.
I don't like Nick's chances.
I was going to say, so Nick, you're taking on a Rhodes in a bull rope match. The match that was basically created by his father. Maybe a little bit before, but still, the Rhodes mastered it. So, Nick, you may want to get your affairs in order. Young Bucks will take on Pac and Penta El Cerro Mero from Death Triangle. And Christian Cage and Jungle Boy will face Private Party. Apparently, Matt Hardy still has a lot of hatred for Christian Cage. I think it was after that spear off the ladder that Edge did way back when. But anyway, so that's part of what we'll see Friday night on Dynamite. Man, I'm excited for the future of AEW.
The one thing I did want to say though, did you agree with the placement of the Stadium Stampede of that being the closer?
Yes. The way it turned out, yeah. I mean, I'm an old school guy. The world title should always be the main event, but you got to make exceptions, and I think that was a good exception. Yeah.
Now, did they I'm assuming they couldn't have done that live. Like, I'm assuming they filmed that.
I
and
think
then the
yeah,
last
I think
part was live.
I think a lot of that happened in the stadium and in the offices. That was taped before, and then of course when they came out to the ring, that was live.
I mean, it all worked.
Yeah,
but
they did good.
I was still one of those that was like, the championship title thing should have been the main event, and the Stadium Stampede could have been somewhere in the middle of all of that. But it was such a poignant moment for Sammy. I understand why they wanted to put it last, but
yeah, I wouldn't have had a problem if they did that. But yeah, I was just happy for Sammy and doing the curtain call. And if you go to AEW's Twitter account at AEW, they did have a post show, the Inner Circle thanked the fans and everything, and it was just really good. And so check that out. We're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back, we'll let you know what's happening in independent wrestling around the area. You're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, and you're listening to The Horn. All right, good. What the world? Oh, from NXT UK. When's the last time you watched NXT UK?
I haven't.
Okay. I saw it like at the very beginning, but I haven't seen it since. So, but oh well. Let's see. I think I'll just save the miscellaneous notes for YouTube and Twitch only, because we gotta get this next segment, I think, down to about 6 minutes.
Okay.
We went long with Mark, which I'm good with that. I'm glad we went long with Mark, obviously. So, all right, let's do this one more time. Sorry, gang, gotta mute you, but we'll be right back. Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick, Justin Smash Simmons. Got a couple cards to tell you about for this week in independent wrestling. We will start in Sherman. So you know Texoma Pro Wrestling usually wrestles there. They've got a second promotion called Red River Wrestling, and their event this Friday, Inception, at the Sherman Elks Lodge. Bell time 8 p.m., Charlie Haas, J.D. Griffey, Matthew Palmer, and more. That's Red River Wrestling this Friday in Sherman. And then AAPW presents Live Pro Wrestling this Saturday at the AAPW Arena. They're 1702 Aldridge. Bell time 8 p.m., Steve Orino, Lawrence Botello, Insane, and more. That's AAPW this Saturday in the beautiful ATX. And that's a look at independent wrestling. The AAPW show, I know you can also stream on YouTube, Twitch, and I think Facebook. Check them out. You can see the links on their Facebook page.
That's right. Go honor your new champion.
I think that's right. And I think Warsaw's there as well. He's trying to get a tag team, I think. So, couple of quick notes. NWA has a pay-per-view this weekend, When Our Shadows Fall. It is this Sunday on Fight TV. Nick Aldis will defend the NWA World Heavyweight Championship against Trevor Murdoch. Serena Deeb, who just defended the women's world title against Riho in the buy-in for AEW, she will have another defense on this pay-per-view against Camille. And then Aaron Stevens and Kratos will defend the world tag team titles in a three-way dance against Tom Latimer and Chris Adonis and the War Kings. Crimson and Godzilla Jax Dane trying to become a two-time World Tag Team Champion. That's NWA When Our Shadows Fall this Sunday, and you can get it on Fight TV. One WWE note, they have a new lead announcer for Raw, Jimmy Smith. You've seen him on NXT. He's done MMA commentary. He debuted on Monday night. He was fine. You know, it was good.
Could just had Tom Phillips.
Yeah. Why they decided to go away from him, I don't know.
In the first place, no offense, but I'm just all like, now I think that's the bigger news is that Tom Phillips is no longer with the company.
Well, and this is, you heard Mark in the first segment talk about the house cleaning kind of that WWE's been doing under Nick Khan. So yeah, you do away with Tom Phillips, who I think he has been a commentator on every brand they've got, and you bring in Jimmy Smith, who, again, has been on NXT. Okay. He knows his stuff. He knows it more than Adnan Virk. It will take time for him to get up to speed. You know, he's got Corey Graves and Byron Saxton to help him, but still, you know, kind of a shame. And then New Japan Pro Wrestling Dominion on Monday, June 7th at Korakuen Hall. The vacant IWGP World Heavyweight Championship will be contested. Kazuchika Okada taking on Shingo Takagi. You also got Kota Ibushi taking on Jeff Cobb, and El Desperado will defeat World Slam. So
the event off.
Yeah. At the Smash Simmons CK, you can follow the show. You can name your favorite podcast provider. Quick note: we will be off next week. There will be a best of show and our archive show. We'll let you know. Stay tuned to our social medias. Tonight is the Jaguar on the Jaguar
as a unit though.
Oh, I do too. I think it works. So, and we did hit all of those. They did cancel. We didn't mention New Japan did cancel. They had a Road to Dominion event scheduled for June 4th in Ota. That has been canceled. And Dominion was supposed to be on Sunday. They moved it to Monday. So, yeah, I hope they are able to pull it off. I'm glad to see that Okada is able to be on the card, considering he's had COVID, but apparently he's okay. I did see Kojima, who has been on Impact Wrestling recently, is going to be on NJPW Strong. So he's been in LA recently. So
wow.
They taped some stuff with him.
It's funny you mentioned that because we didn't even talk about it, but WWE and the New Japan talks.
Yeah. We did. Yeah, we didn't. Well, you know, and I think I was going to mention, but then the whole Mark Henry thing happened, so it's kind of like, all right,
which is totally okay. But since we're here,
all right. So, how much stock do you put into WWE and New Japan?
I mean, it's pro wrestling, so I at least, take half of it seriously, just because I think that they probably are in talks, but that might be for New Japan to try to sweeten their own deal with AEW or with some other venture, or try to establish a television deal in the United States. They're obviously not doing this to help out anybody else per se,
WWE,
but themselves.
Yeah.
And the same thing with WWE. They're looking for an intro to Japan where they can possibly put together NXT Japan probably. And they would utilize the help that they could offer.
See, that's the thing. I'm not sure that they want to do NXT Japan, only because you see how, I hate to say it, how irrelevant NXT UK is.
Yeah, for us.
I hope they're getting a lot of views in Europe, but
those guys don't get live WWE programming usually.
True.
And they don't usually get live tours either, so
right.
That's as close as they're going to get to WWE on a consistent basis. I think they do win those fan groups over little by little.
Right. I like you. I'm sure there has been somebody talking to somebody. I really think that in order for it to happen, now what I have heard, and this broke over the weekend, and so I've read and listened to different reports from Wrestling Observer, from Wrestling Inc., some of our other colleagues.
Read them all, huh?
From what I gather, what has been reported would be that WWE could send talent to New Japan. So maybe send some of the NXT guys, have them show up on one of the New Japan cards.
Are you kidding? Wouldn't you love to see Prince Devitt just show back up all of a sudden?
In a heartbeat. AJ Styles, have him go back. Have, a lot of those guys. But here's the thing. There's no mention of it coming back. So like see Shingo Takagi show up on SmackDown, or see Tetsuya Naito in NXT. There's been no mention of it. Now I'm sure there's probably that the thought is there.
I'm sure they would like to have one or two, but depending on their presentation, they would have to work all that out. Like, would they want to make that move?
And And I'll be honest, I would not want to see that because I do not trust WWE to present them properly, because they will take them and just do what they always do. They'll find a way to job them out to Orton or whoever, and I get the feeling it'll be the same thing that New Japan ran into, was it 10, 15 years ago with TNA, when they would send Okada and Nakamura and Tanahashi, and TNA would just job them out to.
Well, the difference was those guys were on excursion.
Well,
So
that's
they
what
were,
I'm saying.
So they were young boys.
Yeah.
And that's what it's expected, because you're on the road to get experience, not necessarily to have a great run, but you are going to get squashed. But if you're talking about somebody like a Naito or something, like, yeah, you're hoping that would not be the case, but they would probably be facing some sort of repackaging because the fan bases are different.
And that's why this really makes very little sense. I mean, as far as like presentation, now, yes, I get it. I also think that it would have to involve WWE adding a financial incentive. There's got to be some money involved because of the way New Japan does business. And I also get that, look, New Japan has gone through some hard times the last year and a half. Even I'll say 2 years, ever since G1 Supercard.
Mm-hmm.
They have gone through some rough times. It seems like a little bit of a rudderless ship, so to speak. Like I said, it's one of those things. I'll believe it when I see it.
Well, yeah.
I'm not going to put much stock into it right now. And you know how the internet wrestling community goes. You hear one thing and they're going, the fantasy booking and all this, Otis versus Ishii,
Well,
and I would love to see that.
Well,
but I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna put much faith into it.
Well, nobody ever thought that WCW would be bought out by WWF, and that happened. So you never know what's gonna happen. You never know. And right
but
now,
this wasn't. But that's the thing. They're not talking about buyout. They're just talking about a working agreement.
Exactly.
I guess is what
So,
I'm not expecting anything. I'm
Because-
thinking this is like, so, and the word was WWE wanted to be the exclusive North American partner with New Japan, so that New Japan can't work with AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor, MLW, whatever.
yeah,
Which,
makes sense.
sure, that's business. That's also kind of giving a big middle finger to those promotions.
Well, Vince
who
didn't-
already have working relationships
yeah,
with
but
them.
Vince didn't get to where he is without doing things
I know,
like this.
I know. That's why there were some promoters that wanted him dead.
Yeah, but the winners go the spoils.
I know.
And they're the ones that tell history.
And which is sad, but yeah, I mean, that's not just wrestling. That's
And
everywhere.
maybe this is what he wants to see before he leaves this realm, is that WWE truly becomes worldwide. And now, with the deep pockets that they have, because they have all the NBC money, they have the Fox money, at least for now, but they got a big war chest, and they made money during the pandemic, that this might be the opportunity for Vince to truly go worldwide. Because if you take Japan,
But this is a partner. Again, we're not buying New Japan.
I think that's how it starts.
Okay, if that's what you're getting at, that's not. I don't think that's going to happen.
I think that's what happens. I think it's a Trojan horse thing where it's like, hey, New Japan's doing not as great. They're probably going to end up taking some money from WWE in order to get this exchange going, to try to solidify things.
Right, and be just like ECW did back in the mid-'90s.
Yeah, and what happened to ECW?
And they ended up getting bought. I get that.
Exactly. So I think this would be the first step into doing something like that. And
But
it makes sense.
But see, you're talking as if it is going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, I mean, that's what speculation is.
I think it's I think it's right now it's talks, but I don't put much weight in it because I just don't. I just don't have the faith in it. And I think if that happens, I think if it happens, it is a big dark cloud for wrestling.
No, the strong style would still live on, and there will still be All Japan, and there will still be Noah. And
Yeah,
things
but
like that.
but they don't get the coverage. They don't get the coverage in New Japan.
Well, because
It's like what we always talk about: WWE versus AEW, Impact, Ring of Honor. New Japan gets the bulk of it, versus All Japan.
Well, we never
Noah, whatever.
But Sue, even 2 years ago, you never thought you would see AEW. So, I mean, it's all possible that if that were to happen, that they would somehow combine, or somebody else, some other investor would try to step in and try to raise or a brand new Japanese promotion out of the ashes of this one.
Maybe but I do think that if it did happen, it would be a negative.
I'm sure.
Quite frankly,
I'm sure if Inoki's alive, that he'll find a way to get another federation going once again and try to find the investors to do it.
Yeah, but like I said, I still think it'd be a negative for wrestling, because then WWE gets to put its imprint on even more stuff, and we see what's happening now. So anyway, we'll see. I like I said, I think right now it's just it's kind of like that. It's kind of like in college football. You got a coach that's working at at an SEC school, but his agent is putting feelers out because he knows that coach probably is going to be gone at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
So he's before he's officially gone, he's talking to the boosters at Texas, or talking to the boosters at USC or something like that. Kind of. I think we're talking that level right now. Again, I don't think it'll go past that, just because. But
you're welcome to think that.
It's yeah, and that's the thing. You're welcome. Think it will happen, and WWE will take over the world. I kind of hope not, but we'll see what happens. Okay. So, what would your dream match be? WWE versus New Japan. Give me one.
Oh, I mean,
besides the obvious, Devitt, or Finn Balor, renewing anything, or AJ.
Let's say AJ Okada.
Yeah, but we've seen AJ and Okada.
We have
what I want to say.
Japan.
What I want to see is, give me a WWE superstar that does not have history with New Japan against a New Japan star that doesn't have history with WWE.
It's tough to say now because there's more globalization, where it's like, well, a lot of those guys have worked Japan.
But you see, okay,
Even
you're not getting this.
But Drew's worked Japan.
You're not getting the Soulsy. That's the problem. What I'm saying, yes,
Lashley's worked Japan.
He's been in Japan, sure, but he is not known for his work in New Japan. AJ Styles is known for his work in New Japan. Finn Balor is known for his work in New Japan, more almost equal to what they've done in WWE. You don't think, when you think of Drew McIntyre, you don't think history with New Japan.
That's unfair to say.
That's what I'm saying.
It's unfair to say, though, because it's like, this is the WWE's fan standpoint. Like, all that other stuff you just mentioned doesn't exist to them. They just hear about it. Maybe they went to go find it.
I'm not talking about the WWE fan. I'm talking about you and me, the guys that watch everything. I have stood up and watched Wrestle Kingdom at 5 a.m, that type of thing. What WWE superstar that does not have a prevalent history with Japan would you like to see against, name your New Japan star?
Roman Reigns against anybody on the New Japan roster. Easy.
Anybody?
Pretty much.
See, come on, get specific. Give me one person. One New Japan star.
Besides Okada?
Roman Reigns, Okada, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
You can put him against Pitbull. You can put him against anybody on, Guerrillas of Destiny.
I was going to say Usos versus God.
Yeah.
That I would love to see.
But you can do that. Anybody in the Bullet Club against Evil. Any of the hard hitters. I mean, yeah, you can put them up against pretty much anybody. and it'd be
Yeah.
fine. But but going by that standard, it's just because he hasn't worked in Japan.
Well, but it's not that they haven't worked. I'm just again, it's a matter of, like, I would love to see. I don't know if I want to see Otis versus Ishii. I would want to see. But there's somebody of that shape, of that ilk. I'm trying to think who else on the WWE roster.
Yeah, and I think like
Sheamus, maybe.
I think like a Okada McIntyre match would be fantastic.
That would be fun. That would
because
be a
they're
lot of
both big
fun.
athletic dudes.
Yeah. I would love to see Will Ospreay against.
Well, you're probably going to see him in WWE before this happens, anyways.
You think Will Ospreay's going to sign with WWE?
Oh, that's been like the rumor for a
Has
long
it?
time. Yep.
Well, because he did go back to England
Yep.
to rest his neck.
That's why the
And
championship
last I
is-
heard, he had moved to Japan with B. So, B. Priestley. Again, that'd be kind of. I mean, but so Will Ospreay against.
Oh, I know Ricochet. Didn't we already see that
kind
already?
of. Yeah, I mean,
But we saw it in England.
except we won't see that kind of a match. We won't. We'll see about half the.
Well, depending on what part of WWE they do that in. If they did it in NXT,
I would say
think you get
even in
that.
NXT, we're not going to see what we saw in the G1.
Maybe, but I mean, you still
Or
got
Best
the,
of Super
but
Juniors.
I mean, even in NXT, Ricochet was flipping
We'll
from
still
the
see-
ring to the
Yeah,
floor.
we'll see about 75% of it. Yeah. I just had it. Oh, Karrion Kross against who was I was thinking? Dadgummit. Karrion Kross against, I guess, Takagi, maybe. Lashley and Ishii, that would be fun.
Yeah, but I was
That'd
like,
be big hoss match. Are they gonna win the titles? Nope, not yet. But anyway, I mean, it's interesting. Ooh, Bronson Reed just demolished Santos.
yeah, uncalled for.
I like Bronson Reed, but that's because he's Australian, and I have fond feelings for Australia. Pin him, hook the leg, 1, 2, 3. MSK still your NXT Tag Team Champions.
Yeah,
We like to see that.
I didn't think they'd be losing it on a night like this.
I wouldn't think so either. So, all right, I think we are going to sign off for now. Thanks to everybody that joins us on YouTube and Twitch. And have a great week. As I mentioned, next week's show, no streaming. It will likely either be an archived interview, or I may try to tape something with somebody, kind of just a conversation, for next week. But we'll let you know on our social media. So
I'm thinking
make sure
it's
you
going
follow
to
us.
be SGTW Classic.
Could be. I do have kind of in mind of maybe calling Carrie Silkin, see if maybe we can do nice little conversation.
Ooh, that'd be a good one.
Maybe George Napolitano.
It's been a while.
Been a while. Maybe we get George. So anyway, again, as I mentioned,